the genital system, that is the ovary and uterus and the uterine tube, vagina. So come over here in the 6th week of development. In different, till then it is in different gonad, and then what happens? This this is your the fold of mesentery fold of peritoneum which holding these two folds. This is a medial sided, this is a urogenital ridge, and the lateral sided. This is a ridge for the development of the urinary system, that is the lateral. This is the genital ridge, this is a urinary ridge. This is from the intermediate mesoderm. Now from the dorsal aorta, this is your formation of the glomerulus by the mesonephric duct, which is been taken up by the male system, but it is, we will see the fate in case of female system. By the side of this, there is a development of the paramesonephric duct, that is invagination of the coelomic epithelium near to the anterolateral, from the anterolateral wall and near to the mesonephric duct, so it is called paramesonephric duct. Now what happens into this? This is the primordial germ cells from the wall of the yolk sac, they will migrate along with this urogenital mesentery and reaches to the genital ridges, and they are deposited on the primitive sex cord cells. So this is the primordial germ cells migrating and they are depositing on the primitive sex cord cell that is forming within the genital ridge in case of developing females. And developing of the females is depending on Y chromosome. I told earlier, in absence of Y chromosome, then this is going to happen. Now we will see in the 7th week what happens. This is your second generation of the sex cord cell, and this is a medulla, this is a cortical. The medullary cord, they start degenerating, and the sex cord cells will be forming the cortical cords in the cortex, because we know in case of females the cortex will develop and the medulla will degenerate, and there will be no formation of the tunica vagina albicans. Okay. So this is going to happen in the 7th week, and we will see the degenerating mesonephric tubules also taking place, because it is not participating in the development of the genital duct in case of females. Now what happens in case, if we see that section, this section in the 6th week, this is a degenerating medullary cord, this is the cortical cords of the ovary which is going to be formed primary cords, secondary cords, and this is the paramesonephric duct which is coming from the lateral side, and then it is crossing the mesonephric duct in the midline to goes on the other side. We will see the fate. Coming to 5th month, what is going to happen? Now this is the picture of the 5th month of the developing ovary. This is the coelomic epithelium, or called the surface epithelium, which is lined by the cubical cells, and this is called germinal epithelium, because the ovary is, the covering of the ovary is derived from the surface epithelium or coelomic epithelium, which is cubical, that is a yolk sac, that is cubical in nature. So the germinal epithelium is cubical, in case of germinal epithelium, cubical natures, and then we will see the cord cells forming the follicular cells, and within the follicular cell the primordial germ cells will be deposited, which is called the primary oocyte. And this is the degenerating medullary cords, because medulla now become the vascular stroma of the cortex. So the ovary has got the cortical cords, that is your cord, main stump of the cortex of the ovary, and the medullary portion, this portion will disappear, which is replaced by the vascular stroma of the ovary. This is a mesonephric duct. These duct tubules will be communicating, but because of the degeneration of the medical cords, it will not forming any parts of the ovary. Okay, these are called the ductal efferent. This is the picture of the 5th month. Okay. Now you will see the 2nd month if this picture is taken. This paramesonephric duct that opens towards the abdomen as the abdominal ostium, and towards this lower part in the dorsal wall of the definitive urogenital sinus, they will form this tubercle which is called the sinus tubercle and Mullerian tubercle, because the mesonephric duct is called the Wolffian duct and paramesonephric duct is called the Mullerian duct. So this is where this two-sided paramesonephric duct meet. So this tubercle is called the Mullerian tubercle, and you see this tubes is forming the uterine canal. So uterus will be forming from the paramesonephric duct. There, because of the descent of the testis is there, similarly there is a descent of ovary, because we know the gonads are developing in the thoracolumbar region, that is a mesonephric region, and they have to descend, and ultimately ovary comes to occupy the space called on the lateral pelvic wall, that is called the ovarian fossa. So during its descent, these paramesonephrine ducts will come close to each other and giving rise to the formation of the uterus. So this is one-sided paramesonephrine duct, this is one-sided paramesonephrine duct, this is the ovary which is being developed over here, and this paramesonephrine duct will form the main cavity of the uterus, the cervix and the upper one-third of the vagina. Okay, that is derived from the paramesonephrine duct. Because of the descent, they will come close to each other. It has got a this is the horizontal part, this is the vertical part. So vertical part of both sides will opposite each other and the cavity will continuity. This is from the uterine cavity, then cervical cavity, and that is called the upper one-third of the vagina. So they are developing from the paramesonephrine duct. Now what is the fate of the mesonephrine duct in case of females? The mesonephrine ducts will form the epiporule and paraporule. Some of the tubules are communicating with the duct. So those tubules which are communicating on the mesonephrine duct, they will form the epiporule, and those tubules which are not communicating with the mesonephrine duct, they are called the paraporule. So this epiporule and paraporule is formed, and there is a pelvic fold is formed which is called the broad ligament. So the broad ligament, on the broad ligament lies their epiporule and paraporule. They are developed from the mesonephrine duct in case of female. And the lower part, remaining part disappear, the lower part, the caudal part will remain there in the vagina, that is called Gardner's duct. So in case of female, that is the cyst appear in the upper part of the vagina, which is called the Gardner's cyst. What is it? This is the cyst that arises in the Gardner's duct. So this is embryologically the caudal part of the mesonephrine duct in case of female. Okay. Now we have seen in case of descent of testis, there is a structure called gubernaculum, and that gubernaculum is also present in case of ovary, that is called gubernaculum ovary. What is the fate of the gubernaculum of the ovary? Now the gubernaculum of the ovary is divided by the paramesonephrine duct into two parts. Because we know the gubernaculum is a structure which will help in the descent of the gonads, and it is extended from gonad to the external genitalia. Okay. So this cranial part is called the ligament of ovary, that is the proximal part of the gubernaculum of ovary, and the distal part is called the round ligament of the uterus, which goes to the labias of the external genitalia in case of female, major. Okay. So this is the gubernaculum derivative, and a fold of peritoneum holding from the lateral peritoneal lateral pelvic cavity, that is called suspensory ligament of ovary. So ovary is attached in this position by the suspensory ligament of the ovary. This part is called the meso-ovarium, that is the part of the broad ligament between the ovary and the tube. This is called the meso-ovarium, and this is the called ligament of ovary, and this is the round ligament. This is the main broad ligament of the uterus will be here, and this is derived from this ligament of ovary, and the round ligament are derived from the gubernaculum of the ovary. Okay, and these are the suspensory ligament of the ovary, meso-ovarium or the broad ligament. They are derived from the pelvic fold surrounding the ovary to keep that in the space, that is your ovarian fossa on the lateral pelvic wall. So this is how the female gonads, female genital system develop. The ovary develops. We have seen how the ovary develops, and then we have seen this is the formation of the uterus, uterine tube, and then this is cervical canal and the upper part of the vagina. They are derived from the paramesonephrine duct, which is otherwise called the Mullerian duct. Okay.